I wanted to talk about the fact that this woman is evil, Ghislaine Maxwell. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. But her trial, she didn't get a fair trial. And basically, she was charged with trafficking, sex trafficking young people. But where were the people that she sex trafficked to? She was convicted of being a sex trafficker, yet none of the people that were her clients were named or prosecuted. They've gotten away with what they did. And then, and now the judge in this case, and then this is all part of from the judge to the prosecutor being James Comey's daughter, this has all been a cover up. I mean, it's on the Gateway Pundit. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell's sentence reduced. Judge points to repetitive nature of guilty counts. Guilty of what? How can she be guilty of sex trafficking if there's nobody, none of these guys, none of her clients are being prosecuted? I mean, she didn't get a fair shot, and then to be denied by the same judge, this is ridiculous. I'm not defending her. Like I said, I'm defending the right to, in this country, people are supposed to be given a fair trial. But no, it's all been politicized. And we need to get rid of these judges who let this happen. It should have been televised too, so people can see what's going on. This is why you televise trials. Just like the O.J. trial, just like the Kyle Rittenhouse and that British nanny. The public has a right to see what's going on, just like this Amber Heard agenda. Without the public seeing it, they can be as scummy as they want, and that's what the prosecutor and judge are. Scum. After losing her fight to have her conviction overturned for a role in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking, remember, none of the people who she trafficked these girls, these young girls for, have ever been held accountable. They get away with it. And I'm going to say right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out James Comey was one of them. I mean, his own daughter is the prosecutor, so they were going to cover up. But she, and that's what's so ridiculous about this operation. But at least getting 10 years knocked off her potential maximum sentence. Ghislaine Maxwell was moved out of solitary confinement last week. Well, they can kill her so that, because they are still worried she might talk. Now she has received visits from family and friends while awaiting a sentence that could put her behind bars for the rest of her life. Clearly, she never got a fair trial. Like Robert Barnes has pointed out, this woman got screwed. Maxwell has been in solitary confinement since her arrest in July 2020, according to New York Post. She finally has access to things she has not had for almost 2 years, starting with human company. Her brother, Ian Maxwell, told the UK Telegraph the prison guards were told not to talk to her. She has had no human interaction. Well, she is a piece of shit. She has had no human company. Maybe she should have thought of all this before she was fucking sex trafficking girls for Jeffrey Epstein. As the Post reported, Maxwell was kept in high security because of the fate of Jeff. He didn't kill himself. He was murdered. He didn't Epstein himself. The convicted sex offender, Maxwell, aided in sexually abusing underage girls. Yeah, he didn't commit suicide. This was a lie that Barr and the others, they killed him and covered up because they were worried he would talk. And he didn't kill himself. The human interaction could be small comfort for Maxwell as she awaits a June 28th sentencing for her convictions, which, by the way, she didn't get a fair trial. I'm just saying. Gonna keep repeating that. Woman never got a fair trial in this. She deserved a fair trial like everyone else. Hell, she's not even an American citizen. That's the whole thing. She's a British citizen. But just like their courts are all fucked up, our courts are all fucked up. And other charges. Yet she never, got to put up a real defense. Maxwell 60 faces time up to 55 years in the Post report. Bad as that is for Maxwell, she could have faced even more time. However, on April the 28th, the federal judge who turned down Maxwell's bid to have her conviction over... The same judge, by the way, let's not kid ourselves, the same goddamn judge, also tossed out 2 of the 3 conspiracy convictions against her, ruling they were... You saw these charges and you didn't think then to throw them out? Oh, this judge is garbage. She reduced her potential prison time by 10 years. Oh, so good. In that ruling, however, U.S. District... Yeah, understand, this is the judge who was in charge of the whole trial. So, she's a pile of shit. She didn't even give this woman a fair trial. Fuck Allison Nathan. She's probably, guilty of something. Covering up for, the sex traffickers. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out some of these judges were involved. Allison Nathan made it clear that Maxwell's attempt to have all the guilty verdicts against her overturned did not have a... You don't make that decision, bitch! This is why she's corrupt as shit. She can't make that decision. By saying that did not have a legal leg to stand on, she doesn't make that decision. That's for another judge. She is a pile of shit and should be thrown off the bench. But our courts are politicized. The jury's guilty verdicts were readily supported by but the problem is she never got a fair fucking trial. Further, those can't. Where were the people that she was doing this for? Why weren't they on trial? Those counts of conviction match the core of... She's being charged with something, yet where are the Johns that she was... Yeah. She said, but how can she be convicted of being a sex trafficker if there was no actual evidence of it? She never got a fair trial. The government didn't present shit at the trial. Because this wasn't televised, they got to be as scummy as could be. Oh, just remember, this is the bitch who was in charge of prosecuting. This is James Comey's daughter. So she comes from the fucking family of corrupt, and the judge is garbage. No, I'm going to say it right now. The judge should be thrown off the bench. This bitch, who was fucking James Comey's daughter, should be fucking prosecuted, have her license stripped. This is why the government is corrupt. James Comey's daughter should be in prison with her fucking father. This goddamn Allison judge should be fucking thrown off the bench. Allison Nathan, you should be disbarred, thrown off the bench, and you want to know something? I guarantee you fuck some of these kids, bitch. You're probably one of the clients on that fucking list. That's why you hit it. You want to know something, Allison? People are going to fucking find out who you are. They're going to fucking dig into your fucking life, and they're going to expose you, and they're going to fucking get you off the bench. I hope whoever is the next attorney general fucking has you investigated and remove you from the fucking bench, you corrupt bitch. Yeah, and goes after James Comey's corrupt daughter, on which the jury was, no, they weren't. The defendant simply asserts that the court should enter a judgment of acquittal as to all counts under Rule 29 because the government failed to prove each element of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. The ruling stated, adding, the court disagrees because Allison here is a piece of shit, and I guarantee if you looked, she's unqualified to be on the bench. You are corrupt, and you want to know something? They're going to put you in prison, bitch. Of course she disagrees. She hid the truth of that she is probably one of these sex trafficking judges who fuck some kids. Just like James Comey's daughter's been fucking little kids like her father on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Fuck you, James Comey. In the ruling, Nathan, a fucking probably a client of Jeffrey Epstein's, said that Maxwell's attorney had a point that some counts overlapped. Oh, really? This is how you know this woman should be fucking investigated and removed from the bench because she's unfit, and women like her should not ever. Women should never have been allowed on the bench because they're mentally unfit to fucking do the job. The overarching, which as the government is garbage. James Comey's daughter can burn in hell like her fucking father, and Nathan's. I hope the next attorney general fucking has you removed from the bench and prosecuted for corruption. And no, they didn't prove shit. James Comey, your daughter is as corrupt as you are. You fucking disgusting piece of shit. No, they didn't prove shit at the trial. She never got a fair trial. Oh, yeah, nobody can know who these fucking people are who were the clients. Now something, Nathan, you put a gun to your fucking head and you bitch, you now put a target on yourself. And I hope the next attorney general fucking takes you off the bench. You're not fit to sit there. Maxwell was convicted of helping Epstein. They never proved anything. They just said, a convicted sexually exploit and abuse girls. Maxwell's lawyers argued that the prosecution was simply using Maxwell as a scapegoat for Epstein. Since he died, he was murdered in jail in 2019 before he went to trial on sex trafficking charges. Maxwell's defense also said the accuser's memories had been corrupted over the decades and that the women only testified against Maxwell because they thought cooperating with the prosecutors would help the claims they made to a victim's compensation fund that is run by Epstein's estate. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Maxwell never got a fair trial. I'm not saying she's innocent. I'm saying this was corrupt from the beginning, and you got the daughter of a corrupt former head of the FBI in James Comey, and a corrupt judge who, not one of these people who were, they never had a fair shot at this, lowering her taking off 10 years. Clearly, this was a trial that never should have happened, or at least been televised. But the judge is corrupt, the prosecutor's corrupt, the government's corrupt. I mean, yeah, like her lawyer said, she's only being tried because they ended up killing Jeffrey. They screwed up when they killed Jeffrey Epstein. So that's why they are putting her in prison. Not because they had any proof. And the women probably most likely don't even remember what happened. And, a lot of, let's just say, victims they tend to forget things over time. Yeah, a lot of them do. But without those books being open, the ledgers and the men or women who were clients being prosecuted, this is only a bullshit. She got screwed by a corrupt judge and James Comey's daughter and a corrupt DOJ. Yeah. Maybe she'll get another, be able to get a new trial where her lawyers will be able to actually, present a real case. And this could be televised. Because until you get this bitch off the bench who's corrupt and you get rid of James Comey's corrupt daughter and you prosecute her for corruption, you're not going to clean up the system. You got to get rid of these judges. Yeah, clean up the system. I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Have a good day.